Hey, Helia. Just give me a sec here. It's always gonna take some time. Hi, Gracie. Yes. Are you all excited because I'm not... Hey, no, don't dig into stuff. Not now. I'm trying to stream. I just played with you. You were just tired. Hello. Give me one moment here. Gotta check YouTube. It says I should be streaming on YouTube. Just here for Gracie. Yeah, there's her tail. She's actually probably gonna chill with me right on my desk. Come here. You gonna lay down? Be good? Come here. Move your butt and have you lay right there. I will do cat cam in a second. Oh boy. Let's see. I should be live. I am live. There we go. Okay. I also need to double check that I am not capturing Firefox audio. I shouldn't be. Hey, Gracie. Nicey. Not that I'm doing anything on Firefox, but if I'm checking my streams, I don't want the audio to be, you know, duplicated if I can help it. So it looks like I am live on YouTube. How quiet is that? Let's try that. The audio is terrible. Oh, that was me being away from my mic. Got it. Okay, so I think YouTube is fine. Gracie, you don't want any more pets? She's being feisty. I really want to show this. Will you behave just enough for me to... Just enough for me to do this real quick? Don't move. So she is right here, trying to cuddle. And if you give her a pet when she's not in the mood for it, sometimes she will let you know. But she always does, like, the kisses afterwards. But she lets me know. There's the single paw on my arm over there. She's letting me know that the tail will be on the keyboard. And that I will not touch her. She also likes to do this with her back paw. To push my hand away even further. Will you let me touch my keyboard? Or will you attack me? I'm gonna put my arm between your back paws here, and as long as we're cool, I'm cool, you're cool. Try not to trap your tail. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do the thing. Okay, so I believe I should be streaming in both spots now. I'm going to test a couple things real quick. Test. Okay, that is coming through. Oh, it comes through twice if I do that. Okay. I mean, that doesn't really matter because I don't plan on typing that much. Thank you for confirming, Helia. I appreciate it. I meant to see if I could catch your stream yesterday, but I had to get into video editing mode. I'm all caught up on the editing minus whatever I did last night for this world, so need to start recording on that. So you should see on my actual stream the chat, and the chat should show that you're from... It should show... Oh, why is it showing both? That's what's interesting. Oh, you did YouTube. Okay, I see. You did YouTube on both. Okay. I thought your test did. It posted twice. Let me go back to YouTube. I should probably have that open just to double check that throughout the stream today. This goes well, multi-streaming will be a thing. Yeah, I see your YouTube chat. Awesome. Okay. I think it's working. I think it's working. I'm excited. Woo! This is one of many things I've been working on today for the last 3 or 4 hours. Just trying to get some stuff set up. Multi-streaming is the big one, really. But I've been working on getting some donation platforms up and running and stuff like that. So, welcome to the Dark World again. It is now November in this world. I haven't streamed it in a while. Hello, Zell. Welcome, welcome. I've not streamed this in, probably over a week now, I'm thinking. I think I might have streamed it the Wednesday before this last Wednesday. So, currently, what's going on is, well, my cave is constantly draining my sanity, that's one thing. But, I only have this little garden here for crops, and I'm trying to get glass to cover up this spot here. I don't know if it'll matter, because I haven't had any crops that I'm growing say that they're too cold, but it is quite cold outside. So I want to have a little piece of glass there to make sure that nothing weird is happening. Then I need to clean up my base. The cattails growing down here and all of this stuff, it's a mess. But it is seemingly still warm enough for these crops to grow, which I'm happy about. So really the main goal today will be to modify the cave so that it looks way better. I was going to work on smithing last time I was playing this so that I could get a chest so that I can clean up a lot of this. So that's kind of the goal, I think, for now. And then we'll see what happens. I do have iron, just a little bit. I need to be making some more fire clay bricks, but I believe I'm making charcoal right now in the spot that I would normally do that, so that's the thing. And actually, I'm probably going to wait for the charcoal before I do this, because I don't want to use the minimal amount of black coal I have. Oop, that's the wrong pile. To work on copper. That doesn't make sense to me. So, for the time being, I guess, I will go outside. Oh. Hey, Demon, yes, I am dual streaming now. I'm hoping that this will work out pretty well. This is the first time I'm doing that, and I don't know how it's gonna go. I have tried streaming on YouTube before. I think the quality was a little bit worse last time I tried streaming on YouTube. But I wanted to dual stream because a lot of people catch me on YouTube first, and then will maybe come follow over on Twitch. So I wanted to have the open door for anybody on YouTube so they could come over here. All right. Figure it's best to broaden my horizons and let me multi-stream. That way people can pick the platform they want, because a lot of people will not go off platform for anything. So, whoa, that's not what I want. Ready for a day off, huh? So I don't think you've talked too much about... I think you've mentioned what you do before, Demon, but I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. But are your shifts, like, crazy? Because I know you typically, like, seem to, like, you know, go to bed kind of early or whatever, I think was what you mentioned. It was like... I don't know. Like, I guess feel free to talk about that if you want. Floor is yours. Oh my god, hello. Oh. No, 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 no. Okay. Got a shiver over here now, too. He's gonna come bite me. Down, up. Stay out. This is the only little bit of safety I have. And again, stream has started, so therefore nose must be itchy. Ugh. You drive a shuttle for one of the parking services at the airport. Oh, your shift starts at 4 a.m. Oof. I would prefer to work the night shift myself. I'd love to be like a, you know, whatever, I guess like 8 to 4 or 7 to 4 myself. I like being awake when it's dark out. City lights are beautiful. Most of my gaming friends are still awake when you get up for work. Yeah, such is the life of a gamer. Somewhat of an early bird, but I think shift starting at 4 would be too much for me. I can do any shift at any time. I've gotten up early, so at my last job when I was working, work didn't start till 8. And they kept trying to ask if people wanted to come in later, like 9 o'clock, and most of the office was like, oh yeah, I'll do 9 o'clock. I was like, no, give me an earlier shift. I want to work like 6 a.m. or something, 7 a.m., not 8 a.m. And they wouldn't do that because they were more concerned about their like West Coast clients, but we also had clients that were in Europe. So I figured, hey, an earlier shift means I can cater more towards, you know, European clients who have problems, you know, before the rest of the office gets in. Oh, heavy temporal storm. I forgot about that. Ooh. But for me, I got up for my 8 o'clock job at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Got ready, went to the gym, took a shower at the gym, and then got to work around like 7:30 and started my shift. Started it early despite them not really wanting to because I had so much work I needed to catch up on it. And then I was often skipping lunches and stuff. I've talked about that before, so yeah, I've always, like, I'm not really an early bird, but I'm more of a less people bird. If there's less people to interact with, I'm happier. So whatever that ends up being. I'm gonna get spawned on in here. I know it's gonna happen. I just need to grab food, and then I think I can wait out the time. And I did see your question, Helia, about what's my next goal. I just have to not die real quick. Or at least that's the hope. No. Alright, safety in my little room. I don't have any, like, spots to fight the enemies, so I'm just gonna have to camp here for a minute. Well... Conscientious. They needed help in the morning shift and asked me to take one of the openings, so you did. And, you know, getting out at noon is kind of nice. It's not like I end up with more free time than I would on any other shift. That's fine. Yeah, like, I'm kind of like that too. I should actually move my chats around. I don't need this one anymore. Trying to change that around. Okay. But yeah, I'm like that too. If people ask for something, I will often like try to take that shift or whatever for work just to help out, but there comes a time when I'm like, look, all of my friends, all of my family, everything revolves around a standard schedule, so I can't. Like, I could do earlier because, you know, I might have to do something after work, but I can't do later because I usually have to do things after work. Heh. Butt Cheeks, that's a funny name. So what's the mechanics of the challenge? Actually, good question. I want to test that out. I should have, if I have it set up right, maybe a command, a bot, a something that will tell me. Maybe not. I had it set up. Or does it have to, is it case sensitive? Might be case sensitive. Let me get rid of that. Let's see if that saves. Or maybe I need to invite this bot. First time using this platform. So let me try this again. Maybe it's case sensitive. There we go. It is case sensitive. So this is a Vanilla World -1 mod, which is called Starless Skies. And Starless Skies is a mod that just removes all the stars, sun and moon included, from everything, so it's always pitch black at all times. In order for you to actually start the challenge, every time you start, or it's the same as respawning basically, when you spawn in you get that little glowing light that you get when you die, that like glowing temporal gear kind of colored light. That is the only light you get to start, and then after that you have to try to have some sort of fire. It's not posting the challenge description on YouTube. I would figure it would post it somewhere. Maybe interesting. It should show up on the screen. Weird. I'll have to mess with it a little bit more, but hell yeah, if you want to help out, I appreciate that, because first time using this bot, so I have this whole program, this whole setup, so I have no idea what works and what doesn't work yet, so we'll just have to figure it out. But anyway, other than that, it's a completely vanilla world. So you have to get started with, you know, your torch and all that other stuff, and I'm trying to grow things underground, and I'm sort of, I think, abusing a little bit of the mechanics. I do not have underground farming on. That's the thing. This is all normal. So either the Starless Skies mod has done something so that plants grow even in darkness, which I don't know, I've never actually tried growing anything underground before, or the only thing I have is I have a little air shaft that, and technically down there in the cave it's not considered a room, so I wonder if I'm exploiting a little bit of game mechanics by doing that too. I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. Oh, hello. I'm gonna die. Oh, get out. Offhand. Might close that. I could probably stay safely away from him. Get off my bed. Yeah, so I honestly can't tell you why the plants are growing. It might be something to do with the mod. As far as I know, no. They didn't mention anything about doing that, but it does treat the entire world as a cave. That's sort of the goal of this world, where I've done, if you've seen stuff on my channel before, I've done a number of things where I'm trying to play in different biomes. I really wanted to do a, like, what if you lived in a cave world? And this mod is kind of the closest thing that you can do to that, because otherwise you'd be stuck in a cave with no tools, and they don't usually last a long enough period of time for you to, like... It's not like Minecraft where caves can go like thousands and thousands of blocks underground. They kind of end abruptly. Or like old Minecraft, so... It's not really feasible to just try to live underground without first using the surface supplies. And Demon mentions I'm a clockmaker. Yeah, so that's the thing, is each one of these challenges has had a different class, right? So I've done every single class except for clockmaker. So yeah, this is where I'm stuck here. I gotta use clockmaker, at least according to my own head logic. I unfortunately gave myself the best advantage of Hunter with the Arctic. So, and then I tried to do Blackguard as the hardest class for Desert. So I'm kind of, and I already did Malefactor for the Sky World, so I'm stuck with Clockmaker. Or I guess Commoner, but we don't include Commoner. So... Have I done a challenge where I don't have story content? Yes, the Sky one, I turned off story content. Which in turn disabled monster spawns. I turned off story content in that one because when I first booted that mod, that was Skies of 303, I have the link to that mod in my description for that video, but when I first booted that up, it gave me an error. And so it was like, hey, story location, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't want to cause like a crash or something if I inadvertently come across the story location, so I turned it off. But that is a modded world too. I've not done a vanilla world that doesn't have story. What are the advantages of being a clockmaker? Well, here are your traits. So we have precise, yeah, that should be showing. So we have precise, so I get extra damage against mechanicals, so I need to find locusts, basically, and I'm good against them. Temporal gear cost when repairing translocators, better walk speed, and get the tuning spear for taming locusts. But all of this requires A, temporal gear, B, finding a translocator or metal scraps, and then C, finding locusts and being able to get them. And even then, I've heard that the tuning spear converted locust thing isn't really that great. But I have seen one buzzsaw locust, and I don't know if you can convert the saw locust or not. So, this is all kind of experimental for me. Since I'm still pretty new to the game and haven't played around with much of the other classes. Oh, I guess my no map world has Taylor. I forgot to mention that Taylor I'm already doing in its own challenge. That one won't be on YouTube though, because that was started way before I got onto YouTube. I somehow enjoy it more, otherwise the game resembles Minecraft too closely. But yeah, most vintage story streamers always seem to have it on. Yeah, I like... It's weird. I wish... And I don't remember if there are settings for it, but I know that there's like a way to turn off rifts and stuff, and so you can have like the enemies, the drifters spawn in like just caves, basically. I like the ruins where it's like, hey, there's like previous civilizations. I like finding those, and story content with that off means there's nothing, which I guess is cool. You get to like make your own stuff, but I do like the ruins. I think it adds just a little bit of life to the world. I kind of like the whole like post-apocalyptic, like maybe you're the last one alive, but there used to be people here. But I don't think you can quite configure your world that way without having all the enemies as well. Hey Loopy, what's up? Eternal Night World? Well, we're stuck in a heavy temporal storm and now taking psychic damage, if you will. But other than that, going pretty good. Oh yeah, I guess to finish off Clockmaker, frail, so less health, and nervous, less melee damage. Which is not good for a world where you get attacked by everything at all times. But here we are. It was my final class to play, so I'm going to play it. And by the end of this challenge, the goal is to be completely self-sufficient underground. So I'm growing trees, I'm growing crops, I'm growing berry bushes, growing cattails. And it's to have tamed a locust and try it out. I am eating well. You're lucky that you caught me. Well, you're not lucky because I haven't streamed a lot of this, because when I put this on YouTube, because this will be one of my YouTube videos I put out, I die a lot in this world. A lot. It's only recently that I've been able to do this much nutrition. And vegetable is coming. I just have to actually grow more. But, yeah, no, I die a lot. And I'm finally getting to a point where I'm not dying as much. But the problem is I couldn't really grow a farm or, like, start a farm without having a pickaxe. And having a pickaxe is hard to get when you get kind of one or two shot by things all the time. And there's never a safe moment. You can't really ever go outside and expect you're gonna live. So, yeah, that was really the struggle for the longest time, was getting the copper so that I could get into the copper age. And then once I had a copper pickaxe and got more copper, I was able to make my farm, and then I was able to survive. But eating off of berries that you can't see most of the time, because, just for reference, well, I mean, it's pitch black in here, but other than lighting bugs, there's no light at all. So this area had a lighting bug. I think it's fixed now. But yeah, like, that's my view distance. Oh, and I'm dead. That quick. Where was that Bowtorn? Heck if I know. So, yeah, that's the challenge, is I have no idea where it came from. I'm assuming it was one of the ones, what was it, Corrupt Bowtorn? So yeah, it was one of the ones from the Temporal Storm. Because they hadn't despawned yet. But, like, couldn't tell you where that was. I just got shot and died. And that's this whole playthrough. When you can see only this far, and this is with a lantern. So for a while, you know, it was even less with a torch. You don't find crops very much. It's almost like, what if you randomized the game as you played? Yeah, I have my little top right mini-map, and that can kind of help with things, but when you have patches like this, all these bushes just look like red splotches because it's full right now on the map. Also, if you can't hear it, this world, I think, is treated 100% of the time like a cave, because this is the lovely music I get to listen to 24/7. We love the cave music. So I usually turn that way down and listen to something else when I play this world. Because I like it, it's spooky, but we need more than one spooky track. Let's see. I gotta catch up on this stuff. So back to Loopy for a second. Loopy asked how it was going. Overall better now that I have metal. This challenge has taken me a really, really long time to get set up, and I still die on a regular basis, like you saw. This is definitely not a deathless, hardcore MLG gamer moment. It is a holy hell, everything's terrifying, and I'm going to die at any given moment kind of gameplay experience. And being the squishiest class does not, well, maybe not squishiest, but seemingly kind of the squishiest does not help. For no story worlds, it's usually the bears that get you. Dude, bears all the time. The only reason I got good at hunting bears was because I did my Arctic challenge where, you know, one of 3 creatures is a polar bear. So you tend to get good at hunting bears after a while. But they spawn in here too. Just because it's dark like this all the time, animals still spawn. I've run across bears in these worlds. Talia was here actually back when I first started this challenge. Oh, I got a Shiver behind me too. And Shivers are faster than me, even with the extra movement speed, so they just kind of almost two-shot you. But when I was here first trying to do this, I wanted to drop inventory. I do have keep inventory on now, and I just couldn't make any progress. I would die, lose everything, have to try to make a torch, wouldn't be able to make it back to my body. It was pain. So, keep inventory is basically required for at least this particular playthrough. Maybe if you were Blackguard, you could survive a little bit better. But, that's not, unfortunately, the last one that I had left, because I used that on the Desert Challenge. Trying to up the ante on the difficulty by having the Hunger Drain. Call this the Dwarf Challenge. Kinda. I like mountains and I like caves a lot, so I kind of do play as like the dwarf character in most of my playthroughs of games like this. But it's basically what it is. You're right. Though I'm calling it, I think I'm gonna call it like Eternal Night or Endless Night or something like that, because I really wanted it to be Endless Cave, but that's a bit misleading. Even though it does treat the world as basically a giant cave, I'm not just like living only in a cave, so Endless Night is probably going to be more or less the thing. Also, this area around me is extremely mountainous. It hasn't looked like it because I've kept respawning to the south of my base. But one of the things that I told myself when I started this challenge was I wanted to live wherever I first found a cave, and it happened to be in one of the most mountainous areas I've ever had. Which is cool. I like mountains, but not cool because terrain instability. So, as someone who barely has the courage to poke my head into caves, this world looks a big old collection of nope. I love that. Hey, cat, how's it going? Well, this world is not so much a big collection of nope, with the exception of the enemies that hunt you endlessly outside. But if you have a nice lit up cave, which from time to time I forget that I have to replace my torches, it's usually fine. And hopefully soon we will be not having to do this torch roulette thing that I'm doing here every single time. This is something I talk about in my edited version of this world too, is how much fun it is to go through basically every day and do musical torches all the time. And even then, things still spawn in here because it's just too much stuff and it doesn't count as a room. You can see I'm still cold down here, which is what I'm trying to get to today, but I died. And I had to wait for charcoal before I could get nails so that I could make trunks, so that I could clean this up, so that I could then make all the edits. But yeah, somehow, with it being 1 degree Celsius, it is not over yet. Berry bushes seem to grow. And I tried to expand this, but this leads into a big old cave of nope. So we'll do that later. The biggest challenge so far, honestly, other than it being darkness and I die all the time, is the fact that I can't see animals. So, like, how do you get leather? Because, like, the only things I've seen are rabbits and raccoons that have fallen down my pit right here and landed and smacked themselves to death. I've not seen wolves or boars. I've seen one bear, but I haven't seen any since. And I wonder if because it's dark, the game has despawned them since. I'm not sure. So there's a good chance that I just don't get leather. Let's see. What's the trick? Maybe I should go practice in a similar challenge. Maybe the lack of experience in bear handling is a big problem. So, the trick with bears, I'm only getting to that because I went on a bit of a rant there. Sorry, I like to talk. But the trick with bears is, always having like a getaway spot, basically, especially if you're a slower class. On Hunter and Clockmaker, you can usually backpedal sprint like this fast enough that you can just do some retreating pokes with a spear or even a Falx Blade. In my Arctic challenge, I don't remember exactly when in the video I pointed out, but I show the method, and at that time I'm wearing bear armor, which lowers my speed down to I think 101%. So I believe at 100% you can still outrun a bear by back sprinting. You might have to be a little bit higher, I'm not sure. We need nails. And I need to make an iron hammer when I next get an iron batch, which I'm working on, but that also takes time. And trust me, even though I do these challenges, I don't want to say I'm still new, because that wouldn't be exactly true. But I haven't even played this game for a year. Also, by the way, we have to pause for just a second. I have to show you new Gracie position. For those just joining, and for new people, I have a cat. Her name is Gracie. And today, she's decided she wants to be right here. Next to my hand for my keyboard. Gracie. Hi. Off. I had to pause for a moment because I know she is more of the celebrity on this channel than I am. People love you, Gracie. Hi. Chop it, chop, chop. Thank you. Ow. Not really ow. Playful ow. Okay, hang on. So, she's doing that cat thing where she's letting me know that I'm not to touch her, even though she wants to be near me. Gracie, hi. You're getting some quality Gracie content today. More so than usual, because usually she's asleep on the bed behind me. Anyway, back to the game and back to chat. What kind of challenge can I even do after I complete Eternal Night? Ocean. But Ocean, I'm waiting for 1.22, and I'm waiting for them to figure out what they want to do with the berry bushes. Because a lot of the community is complaining about how that's gonna come into effect. I'm sort of one of them. I feel like it seems like a lot for berries. So, I don't know. I'm kind of gonna wait, but instead of not uploading content, I'm gonna switch games, at least for a moment, to Subnautica for YouTube, and for streaming, I'll probably do Outward. Because Demon wants to see me do Outward, and I've been wanting to play Outward for some time. And there may be Outward YouTube videos, too, to go with that whole thing. But we'll see. Spear throwing is nice, but sometimes they just spawn near base for the bears. Yeah. So, throwing spears does more damage usually, but you always have the issue of, sorry, brain is not braining for a second here. Spear throwing is nice. It damages spears more. That's the main issue. Also, you have to pick up your tool again. Spears do have more range with just their standard thrust attack than other weapons. Oh, we got a shiver. Ow. Ow. Deep shiver. Yep. That's also one of the ways that you die in this world, is the cave is not a room yet, which is what I'm trying to fix today. Hopefully. But on our way to the cave, we have another cave, and that means we need to explore. Oh, come on, game. You know you want to do better than that. You still want to do better than that. I can see how much of this is floating terrain. Really? Man, give me a spot. I do need to make some animal pits to see what I can catch. That is for sure a thing that I plan on doing, but I need to expand my territory. It's like playing a... Hi, Gracie. You're beautiful. I just want you to know that. Thank you. So, that is something that I want to do. I'm kind of playing like a medieval castle game where I have my walls and I'm going to slowly push my walls out further and further and further. But as I do some expansions, I will try to build some like pit traps and stuff to get animals. But by now, most things around me have probably died for one reason or another. So it'll be blind trying to find animal content at some point. That keeps going down. I'm not chasing that. I don't see a point. The world's best ruins could be down there, and I still don't think I want to do that. Can't wait for 1.22 update. Gives me a great reason to spam my friends. Hop on Vintage Story. Absolutely. That's the biggest thing, is 1.22 is going to open up a lot for a lot of people, because it's going to have the ocean and fishing exploration stuff, and then it's going to have, like, there's, like, changes even to, like, how you can store items. I think you can ground store more things in better ways. And then, like, I think bookshelves are going to allow you to store items and rotate them, so you can, like, showcase them a little bit better. More cave. I don't know if I want to explore this one. I mean, I do, but I kind of want to get back to my house. For the time... Ooh, Bowtorn shot. Yeah, we'll go in the cave. We'll see what's down here. But yeah, I agree. 1.22 is exciting, and it makes me want to play, and I want to do an ocean challenge. The ocean challenge will... I'm hopefully going to make it single solo island. Afterwards, I have to find everything I can from the ocean and survive off of that. And I'm going to just run past that guy. He's not worth my time. Ooh, big spooky cave. I'm going to pause so I can catch up on chat here for a second. Who is this guy in my Gracie stream? Hey, Sleepy, what's up? I think that's your first time in the stream. Welcome, welcome. Fish farming seems like a bit of black magic. Thing they're adding with cabinets is going to be so good. I hope I'll be able to get my friends on or have to search a server to play on, but I'm going to love it. Mostly played on islands. Sometimes you just spawn on an island that's not designed to let you advance. Yeah, that's going to be the trick. There will probably be some RNG island, you know, like resetting just to see what I can get. But the goal with all of my challenges, with the exception of basically the theme of the overworld, is to try to play them vanilla. So if you wanted to do an island world, and I think that's going to be really cool for 1.22, because once 1.22 goes through a few patches and is the, you know, official version of the game, I think having a video like that to be like, hey guys, so all this cool stuff got added between 1.21 and 1.22 that helps with ocean and water exploration. Here's what it's like. And the goal with these videos that I've been doing for Vintage Story and these challenges has been A, fun challenge because I like challenge content, but B, to show you what it's like unmodded. So that you, as a player, can go through and decide, okay, I really want these extra things added to my world because I feel like it's lacking whatever content that you think it's lacking. That's really the main goal. So, like, I did the desert challenge. Ooh, bismuth. I should get that. I don't think I have zinc. I'm gonna get some bismuth anyway. The thing about the desert is most people run, if they're going to do some sort of desert survival in this game, with hydrate or dihydrate, a mod that adds thirst and like a whole water mechanic system of like you have to like boil water and that can spoil, and like all this other stuff adds like heat stroke and other stuff like that too. I didn't run that in that world because I wanted to showcase that it's pretty bland without hydrate or dihydrate. And besides, for me, I had never played a completely desert world. I had gone to the desert just to see what's in there, but I hadn't played a world in vanilla, so I wanted to do that. And pretty much everybody after that was like, hydrate or dihydrate is required. Ooh. So that's part of the reason why I do the challenges too. I want the bismuth. I'm gonna be greedy. Hopefully not starve to death, but I'm gonna be greedy. There's bismuth here. Was that you? That's probably enough. That's most of the vein. Maybe there's more, maybe there's not. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Hey, no problem, Sleepy. Streaming is not for everybody anyway, you know. I used to watch a lot of Twitch when I was in college, and since graduating college, I have kind of not watched Twitch anymore. So for me, it was like the method of the content. I found YouTube was so much better because I could watch stuff on my own time, and because the content is designed to be entertaining on YouTube, then it just captured my attention a little bit more. But yeah, streaming is I don't like to self-promote much in my videos. Maybe typically towards the end of the video, I'll be like, hey guys, I also stream on Twitch if you want, and I have it like as a thing in my bio. But like, I don't do flashy banner stuff and sound effects and big subscribe buttons and all this other stuff, at least not yet. But I don't want to put that in my content mostly because I hope that people will just naturally like, hey, I like you and I want to see where else you might be. And I try to mention in my videos too, like when I was streaming this on Twitch, to just like throw the hint in there that, yeah, I do stream. You can come check me out if you want. But that's why I decided to multi-stream today. This is my first day multi-streaming to YouTube. I usually just stream on Twitch, but I really want... Oh, something's behind me. I really wanted to get that multi-stream in so that I can open up the YouTube audience to the live stream as well. It takes some setup. You need some plugins for OBS, and it's a bit weird, and I'm not sure how moderation's gonna work, but... you know, we'll go from there. One thing at a time. I'm gonna eat one of these mushrooms. There. No more honking from me for the next 30 seconds. I'm sorry, Vitor? I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Viter? I just saw your chat. That's just a normal world as no as Arctic, no desert. I'm afraid I ranted for too long. I do not know what you were referencing. I'm sorry. The hydrate or dihydrate stuff? Or... Eternal Darkness Challenge. Yeah, from what Helia said. If you're asking what this world is, yes, this is a endless nighttime. Endless nighttime underground dwarf simulator, if you will. Oh, no. I cannot afford to get hit. I just got back home. Please do not. YouTube bot auto mods quite a bit. Yeah. It's just like manually modding or moderating on any platform if I have to. Like if I want to ban a particular person because they're being a pain in the butt. I don't really know how to do that on YouTube because this is literally the first time I've had to, well, not the first time I've had to do that, but the first time I've streamed on YouTube, so Other than some test streams I did a while ago. No, you're good, dude. I really need to know how to say your name, though. Vitor? Vitor? Can I call you Vitor? Viter? 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 Maybe it's Viter. You know, hell yeah, you don't have to call me out like that, but that is also partially the reason why I have decided to multi-stream as well. Because if people prefer to watch me over on Twitch instead, hello and hi, you are welcome to come join me over there, and then I can make money off of you there. But no, for fun, really honestly, I just really want to have more engaging time with audience. I'm already loving this today that I've had a few people from YouTube with no YouTube audience previously for live streaming, which means it's working. Like, people are actually showing up for this, which is cool. Not that people don't show up for my Twitch stuff, but like, it's nice and refreshing to have more people in here so that I can talk more. Because like I said, I love to talk. I will talk until my voice is dead, and then I will keep talking. This is a promise and a threat. I'm dumb. I was trying to place chests backwards. Okay. Oh my god, I guess you're going there. Let's get some of this stuff put away. I need to get this off the ground. Gracie, I know you're trying to be comfortable, but every time I like add a blanket or something, you don't lay there anymore. It's like you want to be on the cold, hard desk. Hi, Gracie. Yes. Yeah. His name is Oliver. Toss a coin to your streamer. I love that song. When I watched The Witcher show, that was the only song I listened to for like a week straight. That's my favorite song from that entire thing. Hi, Gracie. You're showing your rowdy face today. Look, want to sniff the camera? Say hi. Meow meow. She's being feisty today. You're making good content, Gracie. My keyboard really wanted to put an as before Arctic, making the sentence really confusing. It happens. Everyone usually complains how hard and slow it is to grow an audience on the YouTube side. Maybe for streaming, honestly though, like YouTube video-wise, my stuff has exploded. I am only here today doing streaming and YouTube and making the YouTube content that I make because my Arctic video popped all the way off. So much off that I was flabbergasted by how well that did. I have been experimenting with YouTube, very slight, like, I don't even want to say experimenting. I've been posting stuff like, hey, I decided to do a Dark Souls 3 run where I used only a bow. You know, because Dark Souls is one of my favorite series too. And I was doing runs like that, and I would post the video or whatever, but it would never get much traction. They weren't really edited for any particular thing. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I have all this commentary and I talk about all this stuff. It was just like, here's the run. And it got like 100 views. It was also a really long video. It was like 2 hours. And quality-wise, it probably wasn't quite there, but it didn't even seem to have like enough interest for me to want to put more effort into it. And then randomly, well, not quite so randomly, but it's been on Hi Gracie. it's been on the back of my mind for quite a long time, honestly, that YouTube is something that I wanted to get into. But there's, at least around here for me, there's sort of a stigma attached to being a YouTuber. People think that it's an easy job, and I'm not saying that it's like it's not hard or whatever. I'm not saying it is hard. I'm not saying anything because I'm not that experienced with it, but I can say there's a lot of time that goes into editing videos and stuff, even for small, slight edits. It gives me a big appreciation for the editors for big channels and, you know, the stuff that they do. And for the stuff of, like, people who edit, like, super long videos, like 4-hour long videos or whatever. Computer, I plugged my mouse in. Don't freak out on me. There we go. But yeah, there's some work that goes into that, and I left my job last year, not to pursue YouTube, but because they weren't really going the direction I wanted to go, which sucked. I had put 3 years in there as a small company. I really thought that there was somewhere to go from there, but there just wasn't. So after, it was while I was at the job, I was streaming Vintage Story, my no map run that I'm still doing to this day because it takes that long. But it was after all that, and I had spent a few months like thinking about things, I decided I wanted to give it a shot. Slightly. Like, I made the Arctic video, I did the editing, and I'm like, I'll put some real effort into this and upload it, and that exploded. And all I can say is I'm extremely grateful that people enjoy my content like that, and it gave me hope that it could go somewhere else. And now I'm doing better. You know, I'm a YouTube partner now, so I make a little bit of money, not enough to live off of, but a little bit. And you know, things are getting better, so it's just been pretty nice, honestly, to have people appreciate something. And I want to be able to, you know, get together and do things as a group with people that enjoy the same types of things that I do. This is less about a career and more about being able to finally express myself in a way that I don't think other people necessarily feel the same way about. Like, I'm a very emotional gamer, and not like so emotional like I'm gonna break down into tears at anything, but like gaming will touch my heart occasionally. There will be moments that just bring a tear to my eye, and I don't think I get that from a lot of my friends. Whenever I play games with friends, they're just kind of like, yeah, it's a good game. I'm like, no, it's so much more than a good game. Or whatever. It doesn't, you know, I'm not necessarily talking about Vintage Story specifically, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's not just a good game. It's like this super awesome moment, and it just kind of like whoosh, right over their head, you know, so. I think only people who don't know what YouTube as a job means think that YouTube is an easy job. The thought of being beholden to the algorithm and viewers is terrifying. That's kind of the thing, is you're playing an odds game, right? You know, so it's like you do all this work. I did all this work for the Sky Challenge that I had. And if you don't know that I have a Sky Challenge, it's because the algorithm hated me on that one. Within, like, a month, the Arctic Challenge had 100, like almost 100,000 views. It had like 85,000 views or something like that. For the Sky Challenge, I think it's still sitting somewhere around like maybe 20K. I haven't checked in a while. And that's been out for now more than a month. It just didn't hit it right. So I'm concerned about this one, honestly, this Dark World and how that's going to go on YouTube's algorithm, because it really seems like modded playthroughs of Vintage Story, for whatever reason, are not hitting as hard as a standard playthrough. Which is weird to me. I would think that modded worlds, unless it's like extremely modded, whatever, would do way better. I will break down into tiers. Can I give game recommendations on games that have brought a tear to my eye? You know, it's crazy. I haven't actually played this game, but I'll tell you a game soundtrack that brought a tear to my eye just because of how it was composed. Because it's mostly the stuff that brings tears to my eyes are less about the moments in the game, like cutscene wise and characters. I mean, there's that stuff sometimes too, but it's more the music and like the journey that the game has done for you at that point. Like, there's nothing better than like I said, I like Souls-like games, right? So when I played Elden Ring and I got to the final boss after exploring and doing everything else that I could in that world, I looked up on the wiki and stuff how to find all this stuff. I got to the final boss of the game and it was playing the main I'm getting goosebumps talking about this right now. The arm is standing up on, or my hair is standing up on my arms right now. The final theme from that battle was like super emotional. I beat that, when I finally beat that game, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. And that's not the recent one. The recent one is from a game that I've never played before. That's old, because I was going through, there's a YouTuber that I follow called Marco Meatball, who is like an opera singer, ex-professional opera singer, who is reviewing game music and stuff. There's something about this soundtrack from Chrono Trigger. Corridors of Time. I don't know what it is. I was sitting here listening to this song and crying. I just think that there's so much emotion into this song. I don't really know how to describe it. I've never played Chrono Trigger. It's not my type of game, I don't think. But damn, do I want to go play Chrono Trigger right now. Marco Meatball is one of my favorite dudes. I love him. Also, it's really fun to me in his when he's reviewing Zelda music. He's talking about like the main theme from Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Field. He's like, it's so bombastic, it's so amazing. He's like da 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 da. He's like talking about the accents on that, and he's like clapping his hands. And at that point in the video, he's like, you know, it's like da da da, wake up, bitch. Like, it just like wakes up and like completely just like is this whole thing of like, wake up, you're on an adventure, save the world. And I'm like, it really does feel that way. I love his stuff. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Because music is super important to me, not in like anything crazy. I've always been super attached to music in video games. I think that you can't have a good video game without good music. It's just impossible. Every game that I would consider like in a top 10 list has music that goes along with it that is perfect. It's super, super fun. Everyone knows what an Arctic challenge means in a survival game. Without going that deep, people can understand at a glance what an Arctic challenge is. Not sure that applies to Sky Island one. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, and it's not... For that challenge, when I was talking about popularity, I think Arctic is pretty... You know, yeah, you know what... When somebody says, I'm doing an Arctic challenge, you kind of know what they're going for. But like the Sky one, there's not anything as catchy. I could say Skyblock, but it's not. The moment I say that I do a Skyblock challenge in Vintage Story, people are going to be like, that's not Skyblock. And you'll get all the like, actuallys. So you can't call it Skyblock. So I was like, Sky Island? And I started off my video with like, hey, like a maybe recognizable thing of from one of the Zelda games, Skyward Sword. You play in an area in the beginning called Skyloft, which is a floating series of islands. So I was like, I hope that's relatable enough. But I mean, the other crazy thing though is for the views on that, it wasn't the fact that it was like not clickable. The click-through rate on the Sky one was better than the click-through rate on the Arctic one. It was like 3.4%, and the Arctic one was a 2.2. Even when the Arctic one had less views. So, and I don't think it's the thumbnail for the video, so like, it can't be. It's the click-through rate. So like, there just is something about that video that people didn't latch onto as much. But again, like everybody who watched that video enjoyed it, or at least like the people who commented seemed to enjoy it. You know, they weren't like, hey, this video kind of sucks. It's not as good as your other one. That doesn't mean it wasn't, like, it was amazing or anything, but it wasn't, like, outwardly bad, I don't think. So, at least that's not the feedback that I was getting. So... Excuse me, my nose just, like, got, like, really stuffy for a second. That probably went into the microphone. Gross. Yeah, if I call it Skyloft, Nintendo will be like... Nintendo is signing papers right now to sue me just because I said the name Skyloft. And if they don't like the fact that that's how people think of them, then they need to stop suing people just for enjoying their content. Food. Food is important. In fact, food is so important, I should be doing that right now. Click-through rate. So that is your impressions to actual clicks for your video percentage. So impressions are how many times YouTube has shown a video to people. So in the case of the Arctic one, I'll tell you it's almost 2 million. Now, there's no wood there. How do you light a fire with nothing to light fires with? Brain, please think. But yeah, click-through rate is basically of the 2 million impressions that the Arctic Challenge has had since I posted it. I have 100,000 views or whatever, and I'm not actually doing math, but it's something like a 2.2% click-through rate. At least last I checked. So that's YouTube telling you that 2% of everybody who's seen this video actually click it, which seems extremely low, but you have to consider the fact that YouTube shows you things you're not even interested in all the time. If you're on YouTube listening to music, you know, right now I could boot up my YouTube. I could probably do it right now. If I go to my YouTube homepage, I am getting... There's this one thing, a live streamer from a person I've never followed, never watched anything of. Looking at the thumbnail, it says Populous Birthday Stream, and it says, it's my birthday and you are in control 2026 edition. I've never watched any content like that, and I'm not saying that's bad content, and I'm not saying I wouldn't click it, but like, just like, that has popped up on my thing, and I have not really any interest in viewing that right now. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll come look at it later, maybe, but like, you get stuff and on your sidebars and all this stuff for YouTube, like I've got, can you beat Aria of Sorrow, a Castlevania game, with only the handgun? I don't play Aria of Sorrow. I do like Castlevania content, so it's not far off, but like, imagine you're a person who plays Minecraft. and you know, you follow a lot of Minecrafters, and then you get this pop-up on the side that's for Vintage Story, and you're like, I've heard of Vintage Story, I kind of know what it's about, not interested. So you have to take all that stuff into consideration for click-throughs. Am I making juice yet? No, I'm actually working on making porridge with berries, because I feel like that's a better use than juicing the berries at the moment. So that's what I'm saving them for. Although I should pick them. If it gets too cold, they won't grow. I'll lose all the berries, but I'm less concerned about losing them right now and more about staying alive. And they'll last longer on the berry bush than they will picked. So I'm more focused on trying to keep them if I can. Why do I have 2 stacks of flax? Grow soybean, grow spelt. This looks like, yeah, that's another thing, is it looks too much like Minecraft or whatever, you know, it's, yeah, there is that whole angle of it too. You're definitely right about that. This would be good nitrogen. This would be also good nitrogen. Okay, so we're gonna do nitrogen based crops. Okay, garden's going okay, food is good, stuff is kind of put away and cleaned up a little bit. This will eventually be food. I'm out of space in the one trunk, and I don't want to do anything with the next one yet, not without actually moving stuff around. Minecraft content's usually very specific and not meant for adults. That's kind of true too. There's a wide variety of Minecraft stuff though. I would say there is content for Minecraft for adults, but it might lean more towards into the like maybe redstone contraption stuff. Like, people will actually program in Minecraft. So if you're a person who enjoys video games, who happens to be an adult and is also maybe a programmer, that type of thing might be a little bit more interesting. But watching a content creator, you know, do, I don't know, some crazy thing of like, me and this other YouTuber decided to do PvP or whatever, it's like, maybe not. Vintage Story is a very much more difficult game and more meant for an adult audience, I would agree. Okay, so we got the nails, we got that. Next up on modifying this, I don't really want to break the berry bushes. I do want to move them back here, but my problem really at the moment is that I have a big cave over here that I need to sort of adapt into my use case, because it goes down quite deep. There's a drifter here that fell from outside, apparently. There's flax there. I want that. Oh, we're going down. Ow. But yeah, okay. No, thank you, game. I would like up. In fact, I would like up to the point where I don't have to worry about that. Okay. So I need to get more cob, which means I need to get more grass, which means I have to go outside. And there's a Bowtorn right here. I can hear him. And he caused yet another landslide thingy. I'm gonna make my entrance better too once I get other things taken care of. But stuff like this is kind of nice because they take fall damage and then you save durability on your weapons, and it's basically free whatever. We've gotten temporal gears this way. So did I do a lot of panning or have the easy prospecting? Didn't do either. I did a little bit of panning, really, but like I wouldn't say I did a lot. I went through... Ow. I went through... Oh... Gracie, you just have to be around me today. Anyway, I did a little bit of panning, but I wouldn't even say, like, if I had to try to say it in terms of stack size, maybe a quarter of a stack. You know, nothing crazy. Oh, there's another drifter here. I found my native copper bits on the surface like you normally would by just dying and respawning and happening to have that show up in my journey. I didn't die intentionally, it just happened naturally. And so yeah, oh, that's a spear. I don't want that. A lot of my copper did come from that, about half of it, and then the other half I panned for, which really isn't too bad. Copper is actually fairly common with panning. It's not like clay at all. You want to know what panning a lot is like? Go watch my desert challenge video on YouTube. 101 blocks of panning. That is like 6 hours of panning to get clay so that I could get into the copper age. If there's a bottleneck with panning, it's not copper, it's clay. That's if you can't find clay, but in that world specifically, clay is not easy to find. So, that was a fun time. I bet my cheeks that 90% of Minecraft videos have that dumb selfie angle with the crouching emotes. Yeah, oh god. I really don't like the whole, like... You know, Vintage Story at least has a better crouch thing. Oh, I'm gonna get attacked, but I don't like that thing. It's what they got to do a third-person view of their character so that it looks like somebody's talking, but I dislike it. I am with you on that one. Got really lucky. I've panned for clay. Basically a work day. Welcome back, Helia. Panning for clay was, yeah, that was something. I can't say... At the end of the day, I can't say I hated it, because I did get a lot of copper from that, which meant that as soon as I had the clay for everything I needed, I could make the tools that I wanted, no problem. I didn't really have to go out and get copper. I did break down some chunks, but you know, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I mean, like 6 hours of panning is a lot. I had to go break up my panning spree in the desert with, like, battling locusts in a cave because it just got... it got pretty monotonous after a while. Okay, so we need to expand this section here because I want the berry bushes to be in this area, and I needed grass. And I have dirt blocks. I probably could use more grass, but for now we'll go with what I got. Or pattern like that, we can close that, and then 5 pattern like that. Cob. Cob is awesome for any world that has terrain stability because it floats and works like soil. You can't farm with it, but if you shouldn't be farming with cob. Just don't. Expect that from an island challenge. Yeah, I'm thinking the island challenge is gonna have something like that too, for sure. Sometimes clay is just not something you get on any of those close islands, and more to the point for my particular ocean challenge, because I like to go just a little bit above and beyond ocean challenge. I'll probably try to do single island challenge If I don't have clay on my starting island, panning will be a huge part of it. Because unfortunately, you just have no way of getting clay without panning. Or finding, like, fire clay or other clay that way. So, if I'm gonna try to do a world where basically everything is ocean. You have to spawn on land, I believe. So, there's no way for you to spawn in the middle of an ocean. So, I'll probably do, like, 100% ocean coverage. It'll spawn me on the tiniest island or whatever, and I'll try to survive off that, more than likely. As long as I have a tree, and I get seeds from said tree. Gracie, how you doing, girl? Just don't, okay? There's a reason a bit, Helia, why I'll be taking a slight break from Vintage Story after this one. This world is the hardest of all the worlds I've done. Not that I have hated any of it, but it's been the most challenging, and I have put... Oh boy. In the challenge worlds alone, I have put... This one will probably end up being like 40... Arctic was like 70 because that was 9-day months because I didn't really plan on putting it on YouTube when I started. And then all the other ones were like 40 to 50. And then there was the editing aside from that, but we're not including that for that metric. So yeah, I've put in some time on Vintage Story, probably like a good 300 hours or so. And I have B-roll footage worlds that I had to load up too. Just to get some of the things like me sitting in the Locust Cave or whatever. On the desert one, or the sky one where I sat in the box with the raccoons. So there's B-roll footage for that type of stuff. So there's a good 300 hours just in those, and then my no map story challenge, which I want to beat before I stream really any other game except for the breaks necessary. That has 340 hours in that world. So, yeah. The box full of raccoons was great. Yeah, I thought that'd be kind of fun. I didn't know what really to put there. I was just like, I want to have something that can, like, distract people from, I don't know, the rest of the... Like, you know, I wanted to have my character talking on the screen because I don't have, like, an avatar I can animate or anything yet. So I'm like, I want to have something. What can I put? And I'm like, I'll just put my character sitting in front of raccoons. For the Arctic one, I just had him sitting on a piece of chiseled glass in the middle of the sky overlooking the Arctic, which I thought was kind of neat too, but I like the random boxes with things in it. That's kind of a fun little thing. I liked in the desert one with the locusts raining in the background. I thought that was kind of fun. I have seen that. You do have raccoon emotes. I love those. I really like those a lot. I want to have my own emotes too, but I don't know if that's an affiliate thing or not. I was going to look into that today, but instead I've been trying to deal with Google not seemingly accepting my payment stuff. That's been fun. It hasn't been like a terrible experience or anything. They've been helpful, but like Google has had an issue apparently where in order to make money, they'll do a test deposit. They'll be like, hey, connect your bank account. And you're like, okay, now we've sent like an amount over. We won't tell you what the amount is. We want you to log in and go tell us what the amount is and confirm. And that'll verify that this is your bank account for the correct amount. And I went and did that. And they give you 3 attempts. It was for 2 cents. And those 2 cents, like, I was like, I got it for 2 cents. It was like, nope, no, you didn't. I'm like, what do you mean, no? I see it right here. So I had to email their support, and then their support's like, try removing and re-adding your account. I'm like, I did that before I contacted you, but okay. And then I did it again, and it was like for a different amount, and I tried it again. It was like, nope, no, it's not. I'm like, haha. So the guy said, like, hey, if you continue having problems, don't just brute force it. Let me know immediately. So I was like, okay. So I've been doing some of that, and I've been working on getting the multi-stream set up in the chat. Gracie, hi. She can't pick where she wants to be right now. She keeps doing the tail thing, brushing up against my nose. Now she's back over here. This is like the 4th time today. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hmm? Vintage Story sounds like a game that could indeed make someone cry. I bet some of those hardcore playthroughs end in sadness. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever do I don't know if I'll ever do a hardcore world of Vintage Story, or if I do, it's gonna be the most boring vanilla Vintage Story hardcore. It'll be like, yep, I'm in like a warm climate, so I never freeze to death. I have pits around me for miles so that bears can fall into them, and I never have to deal with that. And I'll have farms and stuff immediately, and I'll probably never do the story. That will be probably something I never do, just because of all that. So why did berry bushes need adjusting? Well, that's kind of the thing. They didn't need adjusting. I mean, they kind of did. It's up to interpretation. So the proposed change to berry bushes is that, you know, you're going to have cuttings and stuff. Don't get on the printer, Gracie. What are you doing? God, she's being a fart right now. They want you to get cuttings. They want you to fertilize your berry bushes in order to get good yield out of them. And if you don't maintain them, then eventually they will stop producing fruit. And I get it, because what they're trying to do is make it so that it's not a free resource. A lot of people do this, but they do this on a scale of like 30 times. And so they'll have berry patches as far as the eye can see, and then they never have to get any other food. Other than grains to make pies and, you know, meats for occasional nutrition variants. But, like, they're trying to avoid people just having giant berry patches and that being basically the only type of food that they ever get in the entire game. And, you know, I can respect that. I can see maybe why. What are you doing up there, Gracie? You notice how it got darker on my screen? Because I have a cat now sitting in front of my light. What are you doing? What? She's not meowing at me. She's just looking around the room. Don't go up there. That shelf is not for you. You have a shelf. You're going to break something. I'm getting you. No. Gracie, get down. No. 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 Now, as punishment, you have to be famous for me, okay? What do you have to tell your fans? Nothing? You're gonna be quiet about it? So yes, berry bushes can be multiplied now. You can make new bushes, but you can only get one cutting, and then you have to grow the cutting. You only get one cutting from a bush per year. So that's sort of the thing, is that they don't want people to abuse berry bushes as the only source of food. pretty much. And I can't say I hate the idea. I just think that if you're going to do that to berries, then they have to be like way better nutrition wise. Like these blueberries, 80 saturation. They last for 2 days in storage in a proper like cellar. They last for a grand total of 15 because it's cold. 32 for the cranberries because cranberries have a different duration than blueberries for whatever reason. Like, there's just so many things that they would have to adjust with them to make them better than... What are you doing? Go look out the window. Is it storming or something? She hates the rain, so maybe that's it. I don't know. There's just so much more you'd have to do, though, to make them a viable thing if you're going to put that much maintenance into them, in my opinion. So... I don't mind that they want to change them, but you gotta do a little bit more than just adding fertility to the soil and allowing people to only get them from cuttings. The other thing that I hate, and this is more of a me thing, is that if you have terrain instability, which I know most people don't play with, but if you have it, then if like the land washes out from underneath the berry bush and it breaks, you get nothing. You get bush scrap or something like that. And that's really annoying because you can't always control that. So you just destroy a berry bush that you would otherwise be able to harvest in a normal world because they made that change. So, I don't know. There's some adjustments that I think are necessary for it. But they're on the right track. I just don't think it's there yet. And I'm sort of in agreement with you, Sleepy, is that, like, they really do feel better as, like, I'm going somewhere, or maybe I've run out of food and I have to have, like, an emergency thing. They're good for, like, you can make pies out of them. You know, they're good for, like, that type of stuff. Juicing, making alcohol. They have further uses, but at the time, it just doesn't feel... You know, it doesn't feel that robust. Not to the point where they need to be punished. If they don't like the fact that some players are making berry bushes like their only food source because they found 1 million of them, then maybe the solution is to reduce the amount of berry bushes in the world. That way you're incentivized to populate more. And you don't have as many. Like, you're going to need them, because early game players need to have a food source, and berry bushes are pretty much the only way to do that. Other than, you know, random bushmeat that they might be lucky enough to get. But, you know, maybe they need to be a little bit more rare to incentivize people actually propagating berry bushes and all that. This is never going to work. I don't know why I did this. I'm never going to be able to get these, like, berries in the middle. Why am I doing that? I think I just had a drifter hit this spot. He took fall damage, but didn't die. I heard it. And it's looking a little cloudy out there, so I wonder if that's what Gracie's complaining about. And fair enough. She's a cat. Does not like inclement weather. Throw the berries from the ceiling. If only. Hopefully this section can be the berry room. I'll need to make sure I don't basically, like, pass this point or something. I can have like a divider and then maybe I blow this open. I don't know. I just have to have a room for berries. Never gonna be able to get that one, so I can't do that. Yeah, see, this is not working too well. I'm not gonna be able to get some of these because of just how they're placed. This one, like, can't be here if I want to get these corner ones. I do not have enough space. That is the ultimate thing I have decided. But yeah, no, I'm in agreement a lot with the berry bush thing. Some people really love it because they're like, they needed to be adjusted and they were too easy of a food source, and I can't say that they're wrong. But I do think that there needs to be a different change before they fully release it all. Just my 2 cents on the whole thing. Are these bricks done? Not yet. I need more grass. Oh, hello. Apparently, there was quite the landslide when I wasn't looking. And that's true too. At the current time, berry bushes are finite, so if somebody does hoard them, you're right. You've kind of deprived everybody else of berry bushes in that region. Though there's so many of them across the world or whatever, worlds being huge, that yeah, I think that's less of an issue. You could just travel a little bit further and get more if you really needed some and you're playing a server where somebody won't share for whatever reason. But, I just... the way that they are isn't... it isn't great. It could be better. I think everybody can agree that berry bushes could be better. It's just a matter of what direction to take it and how to do it exactly. I'm of the opinion that we should be able to propagate berry bushes and actually grow them from something. I would prefer growing them from a seed rather than a cutting. The cutting system's fine, and I don't hate that, maybe both. But I really like the idea that an agriculture trader could sell you a berry that you don't have, and then suddenly you can have a berry patch from that. My favorite way to play survival games is to have a... create something from nothing. You know, I really like the idea of the Skyblock challenge, for example, because of the thing of, like, you need to create a platform to spawn mobs, you know, and so you create this platform out of dirt and they drop stuff and whatever. I like that you can create basically your own landmass from kind of nothing. And so the same rule kind of applies for Vintage Story and berries. I would love to see a way for you to just, like, you know, get, let's say, because they're adding new berries, so say they have a strawberry, I know that they have that one, and you've never found strawberries. Then it'd be nice for you to be able to grow strawberries from a seed or something, or have him sell strawberry seeds, or have him sell strawberry cuttings at the very least. You know, maybe his inventory just needs an update. But I like the idea of being able to take something that a trader is selling and make your own berry patch or whatever from it. Personally, that's the type of content that I enjoy in a survival game. So that's what I would be looking for. The current system doesn't really change the fact that berries are in short supply. It just takes a long time. Now you can get infinite of them, but it takes like at least a couple months to grow them, and you only get one a year. It's like, oh, well, then it's still a problem. Oops, I did not mean to toss that. It's just a bit weird. Okay, hopefully this is enough. Because I'd like to have blackcurrant. Oh crap. This one's got to move too. I'd like to have blackcurrant over here, and I think that's all the blackcurrant bushes I've picked. So this is good enough. I can improve it later as more berries get moved. Feels like the game needs a better plant respawn mechanic. I don't think mushrooms respawn on you if you ruin the chunk, even with like a torch in vicinity. I thought I heard that mushrooms can grow on farmland soil, but I've never seen that. I swear somebody told me that. I've never seen that before, though. And even if they do, that's super inconsistent. Because, you know, me having played Vintage Story across multiple worlds, having farms for, I would say, in total, the amount of time I've played Vintage Story has to be something approaching 1,000 hours. And I've never seen a mushroom grow on farmland. So I just don't think it's a thing, but if it is, that's not okay. It's like an unacceptable spawn ratio for something like that. Okay. Red currant. This is gonna have to be so much bigger because I have even more berry bushes over here. These are all cranberries. Yeah, I mean, I've got the metal pickaxe, and I'm waiting for, I think the only thing that's holding me back, honestly, is clay. So maybe I should go get clay. These are done. So in the meantime, while I'm getting clay, I'm going to have quartz being made so that I can finally seal off some areas with glass. Where's my quartz? Over here. And then after I get glass, I'll work on making more iron tools. Where's my charcoal? There it is. Fish for sure need to be clearly understandable. I hate how there's some esoteric overfishing risk. You can't really know how much is too much. That's one thing that I was concerned about too, and I feel like a future patch of 1.22 might add some stuff, because they're like, yeah, you can like throw some eggs back into the water to repopulate the fish, but it's like, I don't know what is overfished and what's not. I could maybe learn, you know, based off trial and error, or have some YouTuber come along and waste hours and hours of their life just trying to mess with the fishing mechanic. But that shouldn't be that way. I guess, you know, a simple thing could be they just state it in the handbook. They say you can only fish an area 5 times before it's dead. And if you repopulate it, it goes up by 1 or something, you know, something simple like that. Or if you wait a year without fishing it, it goes back up to 5, but then you have to remember exactly how long it's been, and it's messy. Yes, hell yes, strawberries. They're adding strawberries and, beauty berries, I think was the other one. Is one that most people have never heard of before. As berry bushes. Double your berry bushes per year from the cuttings. Yeah, it's not terrible, but like, it could be better, because what they want you to do is wild bushes that are left untouched will, I think, have the mechanic reduced, or like they will never be bountiful But I think they can maybe never go barren. It was explained, I just don't remember what it is. But like for me, that's not really the problem. The problem is that you're starting to add a bunch of maintenance for something that doesn't really pay out, you know? It's just something that's like a lot of work for not a lot of benefit. These are cranberries. I could harvest some of my cranberries. I probably should, like this one at least. That's red currant. Cranberry bush will flower. I don't care about the flowering. I have enough stuff right now. Where to put red currant? Maybe here can be one? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I've only seen my mushrooms respawn, but it's been predictable on trees. I've heard that mushrooms can respawn on trees that they originally spawned on. If a tree never had mushrooms spawn on it, then it's not possible for you to get mushrooms that way. It's also the same thing with pine trees. Pine trees, you can't grow a pine tree ever that gives resin. You have to find a wild tree that had resin generate when the world was made, and I dislike that. I feel like that should be something that gets changed too. Red currant. Cranberry can go there. Red currant, I guess I'll just maybe eat that when I'm hungry again. Clear quartz is good for making glass panels with sticks. Yes, you can do that, though it's like weirdly scratchy. I don't like it. Because what do they call it? It's glass. Not smoky glass, quartz glass. But it's like kind of like scratchy texture. I don't like that as much. And you might be able to chisel it, but I don't think that gets rid of the scratchy texture. I like my glass to be smooth. Besides, I really don't have much for clear quartz. That's one of the things I gotta do. I tried mining some quartz, but I just didn't get much from it. And panning didn't yield too much either, so I will have to look in on that a little bit more too. These are all cranberries, and that means I'm gonna have to extend that. These could come out one more, maybe. Cranberry, cranberry, cranberry. Oh, it's 4 wide. Blueberry. I've only seen mushrooms spawn on oak trees that are 4 blocks 2 by 2. I've seen mushrooms spawn on pine and maple. Mushrooms do respawn after like 10 days, but you can't be ruining the chunk, I think. Either way, placing a torch near a location ruined the spawn for you. I didn't realize that light was a thing that mushrooms, like, had spawn conditions for. You can't have too much light or something like that. See, there is a lot of, like, esoteric stuff when it comes to this game. Alright, well, that opens this up a little bit more, and that's gonna be doing that. I need to go get clay, and I guess I'll just be eating berries as my food source while I'm gone. And I don't know what to do with all this andesite, so I've been turning it into stone fence, and now that's stacking up. So, I guess I'll make some andesite stone paths or something, like, with fences so that I can't get attacked as I'm exploring. Because I need to leave anyway, my sanity is, like, non-existent. This is gonna be dark, though. It is gonna cause a spawn, but oh well. It's the price we pay for progress. Oh, you just putting something there you think caused the mushroom to die out. Interesting. Yeah, I honestly don't know. It's stuff like that where it's like, I've played Vintage Story for a ton of time, but I still don't know a lot of the, like, actual mechanics for things. Okay, this water, I love that this wants to be a waterfall, but I feel like it just gets worse every time I go by it. And now that it's November, I'm gonna get cold and wet all the time. So, like, I'm just gonna start by... Oh boy. I need you to stop. Just flat out stop. Stop doing what you do, water. Something keeps causing a landslide, and that keeps making this water freak out. Don't need much, just need a little bit more. Oh, that doesn't go there. There we go. All right, better. I gotta clean this all up at some point, too. Well, for my YouTubers, I think Butt Cheeks is the only one that's actually on YouTube at the moment, or at least that is chatting. How's the stream going? I don't know if you also have Twitch and you've tried checking it, or if you've just done YouTube. I haven't heard any complaints, so I'm assuming it's going okay. So for my first multi-stream, it seems to be going all right. Hell yes, lurking on YouTube. That's right, you were doing some testing with me earlier. Going okay on YouTube. Appreciate you chipping in there. Gypster, welcome. Thank you for commenting. I hope it's okay. Like I said, first time doing any multi-stream anything on my channel, so usually it's just Twitch, but I wanted to make it available on YouTube as well for people who like to watch stuff on YouTube or prefer YouTube. Because I get it. Not everybody enjoys switching platforms for things. Need to get to my clay. I think that's the closest one. It's already marked. Maybe I'll make a fenced-in area around the clay. It's so quiet in this world, too. That's another thing. Aside from the cave music and the wind, like, because it's cave music and never, like, happy, cheery music, it's just this. I never hear anything get attacked. I never see anything get attacked. I never, like... there's nothing. Also, somebody asked earlier what's left to do other than Dark Challenge, and I mentioned Ocean Challenge, but another one I have on my mind, and I'm not sure how I would do it, is Constant Temporal Storm. Which I feel like would be very similar to this world and would be a real pain. I need a shovel before I do anything. But that is also a particular challenge that has come to mind at least once. I have no frame of reference. Quality as good as it Quality is as good as it was. I mean, that's good enough. Also playing, so half paying attention. Hey, fair enough, man. I don't really expect people to just watch a stream all the time, especially when I get interrupted by a cat or something like that, who has since calmed down. She is resting peacefully, or at least trying to, in her chair behind me. She has her own chair. She's not spoiled at all. Yeah, I never really expect people to just sit down and watch a stream. I know some people do, but for me, I was always doing something. When I was watching Twitch back when I was in college, it was always because I was doing some classwork or something at the same time. And I had some time to spare or whatever. I never sat down and just did my classwork, kind of ever, in high school or in college. I always was like, all right, so pull out the math textbook, get the calculator, and boot up Twitch or YouTube. Which is a slippery slope to just not getting anything done for the entire night. But also there are times when an assignment is just going to take time. Like I once had to build an entire website in like a weekend for part of my web design courses in college, and that took me like, I spent 12 hours on Saturday doing that one thing. I got it done, but there was some stuff that wasn't working and I had to reach out to the professor and whatever. Yeah, it took me over 12 hours to get that assignment done. Good day for Twitch and the entire Hunger Games trilogy. Constant temporal storm would be worse than this world for sure. Because you'd have to worry about your stability at all times. At least this one I get a little bit of a break. But I think, in a sense, this is like the diet version of that, where if I can do this, and knowing the challenges that I'll face with this world, then there's a fair chance that I might be able to make that world work. But I might give myself an advantage on that one. You know, give myself either Blackguard for the extra health, or Hunter for the extra range damage, or something. Or Commoner just for the neutrality of it all. Oh, come on, Bowtorn. There also happens to be a rift nearby. So that's fun. Flower, get out of the way. Hopefully this gives me a little bit more protection. It's still not completely covered on this side, but I can deal with one side of enemies for a minute instead of being completely surrounded at all times. And there's nothing wrong, Helia, with wanting to just watch Twitch. Nothing wrong at all. Some people do it for, like, TV or whatever. I just don't... I used to watch TV on a fairly regular basis. Like, you know, I'd, like, get home from college or something, and I'd make lunch, watch it while I was having lunch, and watch it while I was, you know, working on something or whatever. But after a while, I just kind of stopped because I realized ultimately the type of stuff I want to watch is usually not on TV. I mean, there's fun stuff. Like currently I'm watching an old for Americans out there, it'd be History Channel. I don't know if History Channel is anywhere else in the world. I assume American networking can go pretty far, but History Channel used to have a show just called Vikings. I like Viking and Norse mythology stuff. I just very much am big into that type of stuff. One of the games I will stream and make YouTube content on, by the way, just for future reference, is Valheim. I'm waiting for Valheim's Deep North update to be complete before I get into that, though. And one of the challenges I'll do for Valheim is no map as well, just like I've done for Vintage Story. But I'm big into that type of stuff. It's just super fascinating to me. And so they had a show called Vikings, and I've been rewatching that. It's been a minute since I've seen the show, and I'm not going to watch the whole thing, because last time I watched it, it was towards the end. Like, I dropped it, and I've now picked it back up. So, anywho, like, I'll watch that, but usually I watch, like, one episode when I'm, like, making food or eating food. I don't binge TV anymore, like I used to. And I'm kind of with you too, Helia. I like to hang out with people more than anything anymore. So, like, most of my time, like, even when I record this stuff for YouTube, what I've been doing in the boring parts is I'm not even streaming. I'm just in Discord hanging out with some friends. They might stream something or whatever, but just having the people to talk to. And you like to actually hang out and not just do stuff on the side. See, that's where I'm a little different. For me, hanging out, I do like to do cooperative stuff, like play a game with friends. Oh, hello. But, a lot of that type of stuff, like the stuff I do for YouTube, like this, isn't cooperative. Not at the moment, anyway. Unfortunately, even though I proposed wanting to live in the Arctic with my friends that were playing Vintage Story with me at the time, none of them really wanted to. There was one person who wanted to, but then they stopped playing Vintage Story. So, you guys were this close to having an Arctic video that was going to be a cooperative duo experience instead of a solo experience. As long as she agreed to the recording of her voice and all that. In a way, I'm kind of glad it didn't work out, though, because A, I'm not sure she would have wanted that, and B, the fact that she left, it would have really thrown a wrench into my plans. I mean, I still talk with her and stuff. We're still friends. We do D&D on Saturdays, but she was the only one of the group of 4 that we had, 5 later, that actually was willing to try an Arctic challenge. The other people were like, why would you do that? There's nothing up there. I'm like, that's exactly the point. There's nothing up there. That's the fun part. They're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, just a little bit. Discovery and History channels do go far and wide. Remember, used to be satellite dishes for TV channels. Yeah, it's not that they don't, it's like, I don't know what's available. Like, there are other channels, especially for cable TV, but, like, I myself, as an American, never once flip on, like, Latin America channels. There's tons of, like, Spanish-speaking channels for TV and stuff like that, but, like, I don't watch it. So it's also partially, like, what does the culture do? Some cultures in the world don't really watch TV. That's just not a staple as much as it is in, like, American life. You know, it's kind of the same reason where, like, mobile gaming is huge in Japan, but, like, kind of not. And not just Japan, but, like, over in the eastern part of the world more. And it's kind of not. PC gaming and console gaming is bigger in the western part of the world. Generally speaking, obviously that's not a blanket statement that you can apply to everybody, but generally speaking. Okay, somewhere is my other path. I wonder if I can, like, get into that somehow. I don't know. Never played Valheim, always wanted to try it. Hell yeah, it's pretty fun. It's not super spooky, but there are monsters and things you'd have to deal with. So just keep that in mind. I only play Vintage Story in 2-player mode, so I always hang out on Discord. Fair enough. I'm not built for challenges. Get too frustrated. Alright, I'm starving now. I should probably eat these. I am literally, like, digging under my path. I'd like to dig up, but then I risk cave-in. So really now I just want to dig through this and see if I can get to somewhere else that I've been. Because there's a B marker on my map that I'm looking at to the kind of bottom left of me. And those are the Bs that I got my original skep from, so I know there's a path over there. And this should dump me out somewhere over there, I would think. It can't be that far down or whatever. We don't own a TV anymore. Yeah, and like that's another thing. A lot of people just don't do TV much anymore. Especially cable networks or satellite. It's not as big. It's all about streaming these days. And if people are going to stream, they might as well watch stuff on YouTube that's free or Twitch that's free, where they can support a creator that they you know, personally want to see more content of, instead of paying a big network to run a show that, you know, may or may not do what you want to do. The world is changing, basically. It has been changing for quite some time. It's not like any of this is new. But I think we're seeing a big shift as younger generations come in where, you know, we're not going to have big TV things like that. So you never know. That's why I asked about that whole thing. I watched a ton of History Channel and Discovery Channel when I was growing up, because TV was a huge thing. And we had Dish, or we had cable, until we didn't, when we lost a lot of money. Oh, Drifter, I'm too low of health. You do not need to be here. Jump. Ow. That's a rock. That sucks. I need to warm up. I will die to cold. But there's a deep Drifter. You need to not hit me. Come on, dude. Get over here. Okay. Oh, boy. Wood. Fire. Now. This is why the glass is important, and it is done now, so I can actually focus on this. Partially because this needs to be a room, but also partially because I need to make sure it's insulated over by my crops too. I need to start rooming off all of these different areas. This may just call for healing poultice. I do not want to die right now. And I need to move these cattails eventually anyway, so I guess I'll just harvest them. Well, I know when someone gets hacked, it's the famous hacker 4chan behind it. I think I only play Valheim in a group too. Don't think I'm much interested in playing these types of games on my own. For me, the reason why I play games a lot alone is because I don't know, I like to do weird things that most people don't like to do, at least most people that I know. So like, you know, I like doing Arctic challenges where it's like, what if you just went to the coldest environment the game has to offer, because why the hell not? Most of my friends, when they play, they don't want to do that. They want to, you know, play the game pretty normally, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I like replaying games a lot. I am a slow... No, you do not need to be up there. No. You do not need to jump up there. That is not for Kitty. That is for me to store things. Do you need to have this lesson again? How you become internet famous? Look at your fluffy belly. Look at your fluffy belly. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're just being a little complainy. Is it raining out there? Are you scared? Oh, hush. Okay. Here. I'm here and get babied. I'll just cradle you for a minute. Is that okay? You're all right. Hmm? Hmm? Yeah, is everything okay now? She doesn't really like to be held like this, but she's not fighting it at the moment. Is it scary out there? Something happening? You're all right. So anyway, Valheim, Norse mythology stuff. Really cool game. You should play it if you enjoy that type of stuff. But yeah. I would love to play in a multiplayer server myself, but I have to have the exact mods and settings. I'm kind of particular like that too, Gypster. That's kind of your problem. Yeah, that's sort of what happens with me is I'm almost the opposite. I don't want to have too many mods. And the group that I normally game with, they like modding their stuff quite a bit. And oftentimes, I'm very happy with the base game experience of a video game. So I don't like to mod a lot of things. I think if I was on a Vintage Story server, mods would be fun because everybody would play them, but I don't want crazy things that might break. So that would be the careful balance. Ow. Thank you, Gracie. You're okay. What's happening? Let me go check to see what the weather's like. She's being weird. She did take control of the chair for a second. I was about to let her. I was about to be like, look, if you calm down, you can have the chair. I'll pull up her rocking chair that's behind me. I'm 54 years old. I'm all for going with the flow, but sometimes you just want to play rather than grind. No, I got you, dude, for sure. I completely understand. I particularly enjoy the challenge and the grind of things like this. That is a me thing. It's just what it is, you know. I'm a big fan of difficult games, and I can't exactly tell you why. My best guess is because, you know, I played a lot of I played like a lot of like NES and Super Nintendo games when I was growing up as a kid, and so like I won't say I'm used to that. I'm not good at those games. And you know, if you've been gaming for a while, you definitely know what that era of games is like if you played those. No, I am not 54. Not yet. But you know, because I grew up on a lot more difficult games, you know, my main console that I played was Nintendo 64. So a lot of the difficulty got removed, but that was still in an era of games where it was like you died, and so you know, like you have to restart the entire level. Even in a simple game like Mario 64, that's a game where it's like you died, you're restarting from the beginning, don't die again. But they're not nearly as difficult as a game, say, original Mega Man, where there's an ice level that you slide. The jumping is very precise, where you have to be at the very last pixel of the block you can stand on, and then jump perfectly to the next one, but don't slide off over a death pit. But I did play those games too. Was never great at them, but for me, that is gaming more or less, is that kind of difficult type of grind. Not that story games can't be good. Subnautica's not exactly a grindy, difficult game. It's one of my favorites, but it is a survival game. But really, it's not difficult. It's just overcoming like a fear that you might have is what makes it difficult. So it varies for me, but there's a reason why I play the type of games that I do. And I think it's because for me, I'm used to games not having mini maps and, you know, like kind of holding your hand every step of the way. I'm very much more of a give me an open world and I'll figure out how to play it type of person. So that's what worked for me. So what we're thinking here, I think, for the room is we're gonna just block this out, block that out. And this should still be less than 14. What's the longest part of this room? From this wall to this wall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're fine. And we'll put a door here. But, you know, because I like games like this, it's hard for me to find people that enjoy playing games like this to this extent, you know? So that's part of the reason why I do what I do. And that's why I often play a game like Vintage Story alone, because when I was playing with friends, they either modded it so much that my game crashed, or they, like... Some of them were very much into, like, the roleplay part of it. There are some servers where it's like, I'm the blacksmith, and all I do is make metals. Well, we had a group of, like, 4. We don't have, like, a group of 20. So if they want to do the story, we have to have more than one person doing the grind to get 4 people to the story. And that didn't always happen, so... First Mario was hardcore. I think Adventure Island was even harder. That's when I started playing. Manic Miner on Spectrum, Crusader on the Dragon 32, Pixel Perfect Gaming. Yeah, no, I there's something to be said about like old pixel games, 8-bit, 16-bit. I love them. but that's not what I grew up on, and I can't say I'm good at them because like that was like arcade era. But I have a love for them. My favorite arcade game is probably Double Dragon. That's just a very fun beat 'em up side scroller. I love those. But yeah, they're very, very fun. So I don't know. That's what gaming is to me. Is it's supposed to be kind of difficult, but also like there's a sense of accomplishment when you do it. It's not supposed to be unfair necessarily. And that's what a lot of those older games are, just straight up unfair, but you know, they're fun in their own way. Double Dragon fairly easy. I couldn't say. The one I played mostly was the NES version, and I think it was fairly easy, but I can't say for certain. The NES version was difficult, for me anyway. Never made it past level 5? I don't know. I know level 3 was like the woods and the bridge, and I made it to that one fairly often, but beat it rarely. But I was also much younger at that time, too. I was, you know, like 10. But it's one of my favorite games, anyway. I need to be replacing my torches. They're starting to burn out. Don't burn out on me yet, guys. Stay with me. Just like a little bit longer until I can make lanterns. I've got candles, I just need lanterns. But, I mean, so the NES version had a limited number of lives and stuff, and you had to start all the way over from the beginning if you didn't do it right. So I don't know if it was harder in terms of difficulty. It definitely didn't eat quarters, though. I've done my time. Happy to chill and watch you do the challenges, so thank you. Hey, no problem, man. I enjoy the fact that you are here and just hanging out. Works for me. That's ultimately... I do things weird, okay? I can acknowledge that not everybody plays the game like I like to play the game. So, the Arctic Challenge started out as a world for me to play and enjoy, and it turned into a YouTube video. But, I 100% get that's not how most people play, which is why I do a lot of this solo. I really like that about Vintage Story, even though I had watched some videos on YouTube about it before, but it was someone playing through the game too. She was just starting a new world, so you didn't get too many spoilers. That's nice too. For me, I want to beat the game because I'm afraid of spoilers. That's another thing about me that I guess people should know if they're just curious about it, is I do not like spoilers. Like, if I'm playing a game and I'm experiencing it for the first time, I don't want somebody to come in here and be like, did you hear about the giant monster that's at the end of Act 2? And you're like, no, I'm not in Act 2 yet. And it's not their fault. Maybe they assume that you've played longer than you have or whatever. You know, I'm not gonna be like, you know, kick you immediately, but for me, that is a thing. So, like, I play a lot of Destiny 2, or at least used to. The game is currently in stasis and might not make it much longer. But every expansion that Destiny 2 came out on, well, I did solo. Like, the first day, it was just me. I only played, because even my friends in Discord, knowing that I didn't like spoilers, would inevitably be excited and want to talk about the game, and they would talk about something, and it would spoil it for me. And, like, I'm a stickler on spoilers to the point where it'll be something simple like, oh, at the end of Mission 2, they give you a rocket launcher. Great. Why? You didn't know that, so why are you telling me about it? It doesn't ruin the game, but, like, just don't tell me. You don't have to. So I just started playing by myself because inevitably, and then some of my friends would be like, well, that's not really a spoiler. I'm like, let me tell you what's a spoiler and what's not. I'm telling you, I don't like that stuff. I've only got one other friend who's like that. But yeah, that's kind of the weird level I am with spoilers, so I do a lot of things solo because of that too. So I play games strangely, but I don't do the challenge runs of a game until I've played it for a while. So like the Arctic Challenge started after I had played a few worlds with friends and they kind of flopped, but I felt comfortable enough knowing what I'm doing that I thought I could make a, you know, a run of it and see, well, and go from there. I don't need more blackcurrant bushes. I just realized I have even more. Oh boy. But yeah. Blackcurrant will ripen in less than a day. Well, that feels like a waste, but I really want a room here. I want to, like, close off this section. So, a waste it shall be, because I'm not waiting for anybody. I've got food. That's not really a concern. You meant Double Dragon compared to other beat 'em ups. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I wasn't like beat 'em ups weren't really my thing. You know, it was just that was of NES games. I played like original Legend of Zelda, played Zelda 2, very difficult game. I played I think there was a couple Batman games. I played Double Dragon. I played Spy vs. Spy. I played this game called 1942? 1944? I don't remember what it was. Why am I doing that? That's not how you do that. What else did I play? I didn't really play original Mario, honestly. So the way I played it was all ROMs on a emulator on our computer. And original Mario, surprisingly, was not a ROM that my uncle, who burned the CD that had everything on it, he didn't include that one, so I didn't play it. I have since played it. It is a more difficult game than modern Mario by far. But, that wasn't one that I ended up playing a ton of. Just because of how I was able to access said games, because we didn't have an NES. And I didn't play on keyboard either for my games. We had a plug-and-play controller. You know, this is not actually how I wanted this to go. I don't know why I did this. I mean, it works, but it's ugly. I will fix this later. For now, I just need rooms. Original Mario had like 8 levels if you know what you're doing. You could just easily beat in a few hours. You can beat it in one try, that's really not that long. You have to be skilled enough. I think each level had like 3 stages, yeah. Yeah, I never really got into it too much myself, but that's kind of my impression of it from what I know of it anyway. That's kind of how it was. But yeah, so anyway, on the larger topic, yeah, that's why I do what I do. That's how I play games. That's why I play games that way. I think it's just kind of how it worked out for me growing up, and old habits die hard, I guess. I really like that type of game now. And I think that's particularly why I got into, like, Dark Souls and stuff, because those games also punish you. They do not hold your hand. They're like, look, this game is going to be difficult. Again, there's no map in Dark Souls. Not that there has to be no map for me to like a game, but there just isn't. That's just the type of game that it is. Where's my saw? There we go. There we go. 2 slabs. Actually, I do want that there. Then I want the slab. And this should now... That's my access to the sky. This, I believe, will be okay. If I do... debug rooms high. This is not a room at the current time. I think it's because of this over here. How do I want to fix this? Could also be because I just placed this and it hasn't updated yet, but maybe not. Gracie, hi. Thank you for being in the way. What is a room? Gracie, what are you doing? This one's a room for sure. This one's not a room because of the back there. No! I'm telling you no. You can be on top of the PC if you want. I don't really care. I'm telling you no. Yeah. So right now, this is the only room other than I think this one should be. Yeah. So I'll have to fix whatever this is. I don't think it's the length of the room. I'm gonna guess it's probably because of the flowing water. But I don't know how I really fix that. Because I need to have the water to water the garden, unless I just say screw that. But I kind of need it, so... how am I gonna go about that? What are the other few such games that I can recommend that are difficult, but, like, fair? Or just in general games that I recommend? So, if we're talking about survival crafting games like Vintage Story, oh, this counts as a greenhouse? What? There's no roof. So that's why things are... that's why these are growing underground. I think you don't need to have access to the sky in this mod. Maybe. This counts as a greenhouse. Weird. I know it's cold, game. I'm working on it. So let's see. Other games kind of like Vintage Story that I might recommend. Let's see. Well, we've talked about Valheim. It's not quite as realistic or as difficult as Vintage Story, but Valheim is up there. It's a fun survival game. Difficult in the sense that sort of like Vintage Story, the way you eat foods really matters. So the way they do it is that there are better foods in better regions, which give you more health, but you can't access the recipes for the better foods without first having a crafting table of some kind that is able to unlock those recipes. So they'll give you like a cooking pot, but the cooking pot will have an add-on that's like a spice rack. But the spice rack needs a material that you can only get from a region, say a swamp, and that material might be a wood, and in order to chop that tree, you need to have the metal tier from the previous region. So, like, in the swamp, I can tell you there are onions that you find in the swamp. No, wait. That's mountains. What's the thing for the swamp? Turnips? There's a plant you find in the swamp, but I think to make, you need the spice rack. I think that's the item from there. But to do that, you need to have a bronze axe, because that is the only axe that you have that's hard enough to chop down the tree that gives you the material to make the spice rack. I think is how it works. I could be wrong about the specifics, but you know, basically that's kind of the thing. So that they lock your stuff behind that progression, but onions are better than, let's say, carrots, which you find in the biome before. So each biome is essentially a level. And so there are like 7 or 8 biomes, I think, maybe 9. And so, like, that's sort of the progression of the game, is you start in the basic level 1 biome, and then you need to work your way up through that. So Valheim's a good one. If you like Valheim's leveling system and how it does things, you might also like, in terms of survival crafting, Enshrouded. Enshrouded is a little bit more like, a little bit more Souls-like combat. It has, like, attacking and parrying, and it has Breath of the Wild kind of stamina management, and it has a little wingsuit that's kind of like the glider from that Zelda game, or I guess Tears of the Kingdom 2 by extension. But it's a little rough right now. I feel like it's very samey. It's in early access. It's good, and it's got some dungeons that you get to explore, which is kind of neat. But it's a little samey. I actually recently stopped playing that game with a friend because like, at level 1, we were fighting an enemy, and at level 30, we're fighting kind of the same enemy, but now he's got a shield, and he's just higher level, you know? It's like, not really the thing. So, what else is there? So that's like survival crafting games. Subnautica is not hard like Vintage Story, and it's not realistic in any way, because you're on an alien planet, crashed spaceship, all this other stuff, so they go fun with it. But if you like survival crafting games, Subnautica, I can't recommend enough. That is probably my favorite survival crafting game. If you want a game that has really smooth and awesome mechanics that's survival crafting, check out Grounded. That's the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids game, where you're these, like, preteens that got shrunk down to the size of, you know, tiny little humans, and bugs are bigger than you and stuff. There's giant spiders in that one, though, so I guess if you have arachnophobia, watch out. But Grounded 2 is out. But what I love about Grounded is that their building system, so, like, in most survival games, when you want to build, you'll get, like, a piece. Like, let's say you're building a wall. It'll show you the wall, and the wall will be green if you can place it, and red if you can't. The way Grounded handles it is they have, like, a blueprinting system that will show you, like, you can say, I want to build a house, and you can actually make this 3D blueprint of your house, so it's all, like, translucent and stuff. And then once you have your design the way you want, then you can go get the materials for it, and then you just walk up to the thing and you say, like, complete wall, and it'll grab all the materials that you can. They have storage bins that you can pull from instead of having to have the item in your inventory. A lot of fun, like, quality of life things in Grounded. They did a really, really good job with that game. It's not my favorite theme. I wish it would be a little bit more scary and adult. It's a little bit cartoonish, but it's a good game. Very good game. And then if you're looking for more scary, spooky, and realistic survival, and especially if you don't want to get into story, check out Sons of the Forest. You can, in Sons of the Forest, they have a wilderness survival mode where there's no story stuff, because normally in that game there are cannibals and mutants that can come attack you at night. they have a mode in that game where it is just wilderness survival, and they have rotating seasons and stuff like summer and winter and all that. So you're living on an island in the middle of a forest. If you like that type of kind of bush living experience, Sons of the Forest is a pretty good one for that. I have a ping on Discord, hopefully nothing important. It's a buddy of mine asking if I want to do EA Battlefront. Maybe. Wants to get into, I think it's a big old mod for it. I don't really have time to be hopping into another thing though, unfortunately. Later, hell yeah. Have a good night. You always leave like 10 minutes before I usually end my stream, which is the funny part. I usually end streaming at 7 p.m. and it is 6:49. So you're like, have the good rest of your stream. I'm like, there's 10 minutes left. Approximately. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer, but appreciate you stopping by anyway. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Alright, I need to make my lanterns. I'm tired of having to replace the light all the time. I do have... I could make copper plate and a tin bronze plate, so I guess I'll be doing that. It's almost midnight for you. Yeah, I know it's late. Hopefully Wednesdays will be more your thing, because those will be earlier streams from probably now on. It seemed to go pretty well last Wednesday, so that'll be my thing if you have time to join and feel like joining. But I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's Friday, so it's the weekend. But, yeah, still, appreciate you stopping by, as always. And I won't keep doing the have a good night thing forever. Go get some sleep. There's only one ingot in there. Whoopsie. If it's only 10 more minutes, it should be. I think all I'm gonna do today is maybe see if I can make a room here, but really make lanterns so that I have an infinite light source that doesn't keep burning out on me. Because I don't need torches everywhere. I just kind of need them over here for the cooking area. So that's all I'm actually going to be doing probably for tonight. And I will likely play some of this off camera. What is it? November 5th. I still got several months to go, so I will probably have more progress before I stream this again. Have massive lag or delay? Hopefully not. Twitch has said that it doesn't seem to be me. It says things have been good for the entire stream, basically. I have lost some frames, but that was a while ago. Hasn't dipped down. Wonder how YouTube's doing. Should check on YouTube real quick. Doesn't seem to be too bad. Yeah, Gypster says it's fine on YouTube. Awesome. Are you warm yet? 7:35. I got cheated. Granted, I did have to replace it, so that probably reset the temp a bit. Oof. It's getting a little spooky down here. My stability is at a very low amount. I can see the walls crawling. So maybe I'll probably make one lantern and then have to call there. I don't have enough for another lantern anyway. Looking at it, my clear quartz is in pretty short supply. And then I will go hide upstairs in my room. Where's my hammer? I need to make an iron hammer. And I've been saying that now, but I'm concerned this one will break on me. I do have a hammer mold, though, if I need it. Maybe as well, but it's only on Twitch and not on YouTube. Can't stand YouTube chat. Not the people in, just the UI and such. Fair enough. I don't have to interact with chat much using OBS. So, it's all the same to me, basically. But I get it. Preferences are preferences. That's why they're called preferences. Yeah, I know, game. Temporal stability. You do not like the fact that I am doing this and not going upstairs, but you're gonna have to wait. Although I realize smithing could be kind of a pain with it jumping around like this. I decided for this last bit of time I would play in my headphones Chrono Trigger's Quarters of Time song that I was talking about earlier. Just to have something playing. It's very nice. Oh, God. Oh, smithing's getting worse. Oh, man. I uploaded a short earlier today, too, of Temporal Storm. I think it was Wednesday stream. My elk was doing the elk bleat in the middle of a Temporal Storm. And it sounded really crazy. So I did upload that. That's a fun one if you want to hear that. Should be posted by now. I think I set it to go live at 4 p.m., so it's probably been up for a couple hours. Oh, come on. Just a few more bits. Now, the real trick will be not breaking bits that I want to actually keep. There we go. Alright, candle. Where's my candle? The nearest candle I have is... This is still not a room. I need to get rid of that. Where's my candle? It's over here. Plate, candle, quartz, lantern, lantern placed there, torch, goodbye. Okay, now I need my stability right now. I guess I have this torch to keep me company. I'm just gonna have to hold it in my hand like this as I recover, because if I place it and something spawns and kills me, I'm not gonna be happy. Alright, so yeah, we're about a few minutes left before stream. Gracie Cam, you can see she has moved to the top of my computer. So she has given up on her rowdiness and is instead tired from being a cat all day. And I'm just gonna literally sit here for the last couple minutes, and I don't want games on my phone to open up right now. Thank you. I'm just gonna get my stability back, so... And I guess... it's getting warmer now that I've been having all these rooms. She likes the top of my PC, and a lot of people say, don't let your cat get on your PC because it'll clog with cat fur. You gotta clean your PC. But if you can do that, you're okay. Don't go biting any cords though, Gracie. It's not my fault you chose to be up there. I know it's warm, but don't bite that. That's for my light. I need that. No. Leave it alone. Act like you don't know it's there. We do have IKEAs over here in the Wild West. Yes, we do. I've got 4 cats. The struggle is real. Yeah. She's usually pretty calm. Today she was acting up like crazy. I guess because we were doing the dual stream, she had just had to show her beauty to her new audience, but she's normally pretty chill. Even in one of my shorts, she's like, I zoom in, I think it's for the elk one, I zoom in, and she's on the corner of my bed back there, just crashed. That's usually what happens, but today she's being a little bit more cat. Alright, well, my character seems to have settled down, and I'm going to be settling down for tonight. So I think today went well. I'll probably be dual streaming again. But good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. I've enjoyed the conversations. I want to get back into that topic about music that makes me cry. Because this song is really nice. But anywho, that's gonna be it tonight. Thank you so much. I don't even know how many people I have on Twitch anymore watching. Should check Twitch. I don't have any people I usually watch streams of because I don't do a lot of Twitch these days. I just do the streaming part, so I'm not familiar with rating. And I don't think I have that many viewers right now anyway. I think it's late. I should find somebody to raid after my streams are over. Looks like there's 2 on Twitch. I feel bad for not raiding, but we'll get it figured out. You missed that topic and suggest some music. Well, next time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My typical time frame is from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time US, but Wednesdays I will be shifting up. Not entirely sure on the time. It might be noon to 3. But I can't do 4 to 7 anymore because I'll be starting an in-person D&D campaign. And if you like Dungeons and Dragons, don't even get me started on that stuff. I'll talk forever. But yeah. Anyway. Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I always enjoy having people to talk to.